Right now at 5, ride shares are rolling on Market Street for the first time in years. The goal, bring more life to downtown San Francisco. But hear from safety advocates who call this the wrong route.
Introducing cars back onto Market Street just increases danger, and it's going to slow down transit for everybody.
The division champs wanted to defend their home field, but they didn't plan for this.
The heartbreaking part is to have this type of investment in our community, in our students, to have them play here, and then to have it damaged.
What fire officials say may have caused this and how coaches and players plan to rally. Have a question about San Jose? Ask Sam.
He's a walking history book. It's amazing. It really is, truly is.
Meet the retired fire captain who just turned 106 years old. And it's a new era in their love story.
We've never seen anything quite like this, I don't think, in terms of people coming together from different worlds.
Reaction pouring in as a music icon and pro football player plan to say, I do.
I think this is the equivalent of a royal wedding.
CBS News Bay Area Evening Edition with Ryan Yamamoto.
Starting today, ride-hailing cars have returned to San Francisco's Market Street. The mayor says it will help bring people back to the struggling downtown area. However, critics say it will have the exact opposite effect. Kenny Choi is live along Market Street where protesters are right now voicing their opposition to the move. Kenny.
Yeah, Ryan, the protest is just getting underway here at the corner of Market and Montgomery. Critics are upset about the mayor's new policy to bring back certain ride shares like Uber Black, Lyft Black, and Waymos onto Market Street starting today. They say that this is primarily a safety issue. Meanwhile, the mayor and other supporters say that this is a crucial step to the revitalization efforts of downtown San Francisco and bringing more people into this area. Nadine Ramnandana is back in the kitchen, not by choice, but necessity. Business is better at the Old Siam restaurant these days, but she and her son still don't have enough customers to hire more cooks like they used to.
Yeah, we need more people around here.
It's pretty slow right now. We need clientele.
Nick Ramnandana and his family have been running the eatery close to Market Street for nearly 30 years. They believe allowing ride shares on Market will boost business and bring in more customers.
They can't park around here because there's always restrictions or nowhere to park at all.
Local business associations have endorsed reopening Market, arguing that it will benefit struggling merchants. But critics contend the change will cause more traffic congestion, endanger pedestrians and cyclists, and slow down Muni and public transportation. Christopher White is executive director of the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition.
We really believe that the mayor needs to change course on this, and his administration does, for the sake of safety and for the sake of their stated goals of improving Market Street, improving downtown, and encouraging people to come back to it.
White points to SFMTA data that showed injury crashes dropped by 40% after closing Market in January 2020, while travel times on public transportation along the route were reduced by 14%.
There are so many different ways that people can get there, including by car. Introducing cars back onto Market Street just increases danger, and it's going to slow down transit for everybody.
But San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie and other city officials have touted the partial reopening of Market Street to cars as a crucial step to revitalizing the downtown quarter's theaters, restaurants, and hotels.
This is a really important development because we gotta get more people downtown. We gotta get more people on Market Street. It's been desolate for far too long.
As each side digs in, small businesses are looking for any change that could improve their bottom line.
I think it'd be of great help, you know. I mean, it's a small step, but it's better than nothing, you know.
Now, critics are also saying that it is startling to see the number of cars already on Market Street since the announcement was made back in April. They say that this new policy will lead to more violators, people with their personal cars turning onto Market Streets, since it'll be hard for law enforcement to discern between private cars and ride shares. They say that that will lead to more congestion and a safety issue for pedestrians and cyclists. Ryan, meanwhile, Waymo continues its expansion across the country. Just 4 days ago, it received its first permit to begin testing in New York City.
All right, Kenny Choi reporting live along Market Street in downtown San Francisco. Well, pickups and drop-offs are allowed in 7 designated areas. Waymo will be allowed to operate on Market Street between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. and after 7 p.m. Lyft and Uber will only be able to use Market Street between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. Well, San Francisco is planning to clear out homeless encampments along 6th Street in the Selma neighborhood this evening. This is what the street looked like this afternoon. Notices were posted in the neighborhood, warning unhoused residents that any personal belongings still here by this afternoon would be removed and taken to Public Works. So far, we have not seen any signs of that. Yesterday, though, we did hear from Amber, who's been homeless for years. She says it's unsettling to having to constantly move around.
You never get a chance to have a foundation, something to start from. Your stuff's always taken and you're always having to move around everything with you, so you can't really ever do anything. You can't clean up this spot and where they're supposed to go.
The city said it will provide housing, medical, and psychiatric care to people who need it. Well, the Bay Area's biggest city is taking steps to eliminate blight. The San Jose City Council unanimously approved steeper penalties for property owners who don't fix rundown and neglected buildings. The city already had fines for blighted buildings, but officials felt they weren't strong enough. Property owners could now face fines up to $10,000 per day. That's 4 times the previous amount. The annual cap also increased to $500,000. Councilmember Peter Ortiz has been pushing for this change and has a message for absentee landlords.
The city of San Jose is going to be holding you accountable. We will not be looking the other way. We are going to make sure that the well-being of our residents, of our business owners, of our youth, right, are being prioritized.
The council member said he also wants to work on increasing the recovery rate of these penalties. He says he plans to collaborate with the city attorney to ensure fines are collected. New progress in the battle against the picket fire that's still burning in Napa County. CAL FIRE says that marine layer that moved in last night, bringing some much needed humidity to help them boost containment. That has also prompted the Bay Area Air District to cancel an air quality advisory for tomorrow. The fire in the East Hills of Calistoga is holding at about 6,800 acres, or about 11 square miles. Containment has grown to 17%. Some people are still under evacuation orders. CAL FIRE says that steep terrain continues to be a problem, and that picket fire is burning in some very familiar territory, mainly in the burn scar of the glass fire from 2020. That fire destroyed several Napa Valley wineries, and Christian Waugh owns Black Sears Winery. He says smoke impacted his grapes before, and now the future of his harvest remains uncertain.
If we do end up losing this crop, it'll be 3 out of the last 8 years, and we'll have some serious soul searching to do, I think.
Napa County has also issued local health emergencies because of the fire. County officials are concerned that debris from that fire could contaminate the water, creating a public health hazard. Well, this is a burn scar that you don't want to see on the 50-yard line, especially on your brand new multi-million-dollar turf field. This field was just installed this spring at Mount Diablo High School. The school's in Concord, right off Highway 242 near downtown. Their first football game on that new turf field was supposed to be this Friday until it was damaged by that fire on Saturday night. Kevin Coe has the latest on the investigation and when players could be able to play on the gridiron.
Mount Diablo High School's new football field was set to make its debut this week. Now the concern is that it won't even be ready for this season at all.
Right in the center of Mount Diablo High School's brand new football field, a large burn scar covering what used to be a red devil. The school now scrambling to come up with a solution.
We really don't know how long. I'm hoping it's not for the whole season. I'm hoping it's half a season at most, but there's really no way to tell.
Mount Diablo High School Vice Principal Liz Mangelsdorf has been teaching for more than a decade in this Concord community, where Red Devil football has taken over. The team was ready to defend their first league title since 1962 on their new multi-million-dollar turf field.
We've been investing a lot of money into the program, both the football team and the girls flag football team. And so we've been working to really build up all the sports teams here. And so having this state-of-the-art field was a big boost for our kids, and to know that we were going to play our first home game here on Friday, and we can't do that now.
Friday's game will be played at Concord High School, but it's still unclear where other home games will be played, as repairing the field depends on how fast the specific turf can be shipped in and installed.
It was a large improvement program for them, and that's a lot of money to literally kind of go up in smoke in a very short amount of time.
Concord police detectives have been on the case since Sunday morning. Contra Costa County firefighters are still investigating the cause, along with the possibility of arson. There's also the chance it was negligence.
Initially, the investigation was concerned with was an accelerant or something poured on the field. Now, reviewing surveillance footage, it looks like fireworks were being set off on Saturday night, so the night prior, and that likely caused a fire that smoldered until the morning hours. But we don't want to rule out the possibility that there was something else that happened, but more than likely that's what occurred.
Lieutenant Holmes says if the fire was set intentionally, the suspect or suspects could face felony charges. If it was an accident, it's still a crime, but not nearly as serious.
If you're the people that were there and you didn't mean to do it, it would be very helpful if you came forward and talked to us, so then we can close this out and determine, hey, the school wasn't targeted. This was something that happened as an accident.
The heartbreaking part is to have this type of investment in our community, in our students, to have them play here, and then to have it damaged, whether it was due to neglect or whatever, is such a shame.
And school officials say there is a possibility players may be able to practice on half of that field in the near future. But everything is up in the air until a timeline can be set with a turf manufacturer. For now, the team will practice on the soccer field and may have to play on a different field for every home game. Just tough there. Well, today marks one of the toughest days on the NFL calendar when teams finalize their rosters and some players find out that their pro football dreams may be over. Vern Glenn joins us with a look at who made the cut for the 49ers.
Definitely today a life-changing day for over 1,200 players throughout the league. Roster cutdown day. They went from 90 to 53 by 1 p.m. today. Left off the 49ers' initial 53. Running back Jeff Wilson Jr., linebacker Curtis Robinson, and receivers Robbie Chosen, Tariq Owens, and Russell Gage. That leaves the 49ers with only 2 healthy wide receivers at the moment. Demarcus Robinson won't be available for the first 3 games of the regular season. He was suspended for a DUI last fall when he was with the Rams. So you can bet Kyle Shanahan and company will be scouring the waiver wire for some of these players that we mentioned. They could be brought back, as this 53-man roster could change as early as tomorrow.
Yeah, especially for that receiving core. It seems it's already decimated.
Absolutely, yeah. You gotta have guys running that 7 route, the go route.
All right, thanks, Vern. Well, wineries across Northern California struggling to survive. Up next at 5. A plan to make sure family businesses in one popular area stick around for generations to come.
There's a lot of vineyards coming out of the ground. There's a lot of grapes still for sale, and so our winery community feels it's important to step up.
Plus, communities across the Sierra facing the threat of a lightning today.
All it takes is 6 good lightning strikes to hit, and you can get yourself an ignition.
We'll take you to the mountains where numerous fires have been popping up over the last few days.
Well, the good news about our fire danger is the cooler temperatures have kept it relatively lower, but there is a heat up on the way. I'll let you know what that means for our fire weather potential coming up in just a bit.
Well, Tri-Valley winemakers are starting the harvest season with holy vines and blessed wines. Livermore Valley Wine and Community hosted their annual Blessing of the Grapes ceremony. Local wine producers and interfaith leaders gathered at the JMC cellars to participate in the celebration. They shared a blessing, a toast, and a splash of holy water. The ceremony is supposed to bring good fortune for the upcoming harvest.
It's the start of harvest, and to help celebrate the start of our busy season, it's a labor of love, but it's also when all the magic happens.
And the harvest season comes as the California wine industry is struggling. Now there's a new effort in Lodi to help boost sales. The city's Wine Grape Commission is moving forward with creating a winery business improvement district to promote local wineries. This would add a 1.5% assessment to wine sales in the area. The commission says the proceeds would go back to the local wineries, adding around $630,000 into event and promotion each year.
A lot of growers are struggling right now. There's a lot of vineyards coming out of the ground. There's a lot of grapes still for sale. And so our winery community feels it's important to step up and share that promotional burden for the region.
Well, that tax is still waiting for approval by the county, but the commission hopes to have it in place by January. Well, the end of August is bringing not only hot temperatures to the Sierra, but dangerous thunder and lightning. Reporter Connor McGill is in Placer County, where Cal OES is deploying extra fire engines just in case of any potential wildfires if they do indeed spark.
Lightning strikes don't need much to spark trouble.
All it takes is 6 good lightning strikes to hit, and you can get yourself an ignition. And just this morning alone, we had one fire up near Grass Valley that got up to 1/4 of an acre that was caused by a lightning ignition.
Cal Fire on high alert as thunderstorms sweep through the Sierra. The Governor's Office of Emergency Services pre-positioning engines and water tenders in Placer County. Other agencies are keeping an eye on the skies too.
We're monitoring for that potential for a heavy downpour that could result in flash flooding, and we're also watching for the wildfire.
Cal Fire NEU says this weather pattern is unique. Monsoon moisture from the southwest pulling into the foothills and Sierra, creating a good amount of lightning activity.
We're dealing with a situation that's kind of unusual for the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas, particularly for us here in Placer County in that area, is that we actually have some lightning coming up in the morning and providing with us with a few lightning strikes.
And even after the storms pass, the effects of strikes may not be apparent for some time.
It just smolders and smolders, and once the clouds go away and the humidity levels dry, a little bit of wind and those little sparks in there will just flare up, and next thing you know, we could have a fire that is significant.
Officials urge families to be prepared in any weather-related event.
This is a time to just make sure that you and your family have a plan and that you're ready in the event these thunderstorms were to develop.
And Governor Gavin Newsom's office says there has already been more than 74,000 lightning strikes across the state since last Friday, with more than 33,000 strikes in just the last 24 hours. I mean, I'm no meteorologist, but that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I mean, it's what they expect in the desert Southwest this time of year. They normally see pop-up thunderstorms in the afternoon hours over the mountains. That's just what they expect from June to September during their monsoon. But normally, we don't see the monsoon moisture reaching as far up the Sierra as it has. And fun fact for you all, what you see directly underneath my feet over near Sacramento, these were some dry thunderstorms early today. Luckily, they did not spark any fires, but it's something that we're going to keep a very, very close eye on over the next several days, as we are going to be seeing tomorrow afternoon more thunderstorms developing over the Sierra, although it does look like most of them should be contained to the mountains and shouldn't head towards the Central Valley. But it's always possible, and it's something that everyone is keeping a very close eye on, as well as the fires that are currently going. There is the Garnet Fire. That's the biggest one. That's down near Fresno. It's up near the Sierra. This is the one that was actually sparked by lightning. It's still 0% contained, and it's creating quite a lot of smoke and quite a lot of bad air quality up across Nevada and heading up across the Pacific Northwest, where there's also multiple wildfires ongoing over near Oregon, where there's also the worst air quality. But I want to take a closer look at the Picket Fire because it is not producing nearly as much smoke as it has over the past several days. So yes, it's still only 17% contained, but the bad air quality is actually not coming from the Picket Fire. If we do take a closer look here in San Francisco and show you that smoke that's been over the area the past several hours, this smoke that's in the Central Valley and potentially over our inland East Bay Mountains, this is likely from the Garnet Fire. This is likely from the fire in Fresno, not from the Picket Fire. Just something to keep your eye on. If you see a little bit of haze as you're looking east, again, that's not the Picket Fire, that's the Garnet Fire smoke. We're going to continue to see a lot of that fog from early this morning returning overnight tonight, but look at how much sunshine there was out there today. And there's still plenty of sunshine into this evening. Any evening plans, grab the sunglasses. It's a beautiful night out there. And if maybe you're heading out to the Giants versus Cubs game, first of all, I'm jealous of you. It's Harry Potter night, and what a beautiful night for it. Sunny skies and sitting directly in that sunlight with 65-degree high temperatures. It's really, really nice out there this evening. You're going to continue to see quite a lot of those nice and comfortable temperatures as we step out over the next several days, as we are seeing that onshore flow continuing to usher in cloud coverage, that true August weather that we're used to early tomorrow morning. But by tomorrow afternoon, we're expecting a good amount of sunshine, very similar to what we saw today. Those sunnier skies are expected to stick around tomorrow afternoon, allowing those high temperatures to stay comfortable. Hey, comfortable heat with sunny skies, we will take that this time of year. Mid to upper 80s across our inland East Bay communities, a lot nicer than the 90s and triple digits that we were feeling last week. Mid to upper 80s down into the Santa Clara Valley as well. These will be the two warm spots across the Bay Area tomorrow. North Bay communities, upper 70s. That's a couple of degrees below average for this time of year. And for the picket fire that's up there, cooler conditions are always good news when it comes to lowering that wildfire threat. Coastal community is going to be in the upper 60s to maybe even near 70 degrees here in San Francisco, as again, it's going to be filled with plenty of sunshine, onshore winds, and really not all too many weather concerns as we step out over the next several days. So moral of the story is get out and enjoy these blue skies this evening. But if you don't, you should be able to over the next several days. There is going to continue to be comfortable heat in our long range models, although yes, a little bit of a heat up on the way this weekend where 90s are going to return to our inland communities. Not extreme heat in our future, which is again really, really nice news when it comes to pushing away the worst of our wildfire danger and accepting the moisture and the foggist weather that we are used to seeing. Temperatures around the Bay are going to be staying in the low 70s through the later parts of this upcoming week. It's not until this weekend, again, that we are expecting those slightly above average temperatures to return. That just means upper 70s to low 80s for areas by the Bay. Areas along the coast are going to be in the upper 60s to low 70s. Enjoy sunny skies and seasonable temperatures while you can, because by next week, we are expecting more foggist weather to return, and just in time for Labor Day. So keep that in mind if you're planning on heading to the beach. Back to you, Ryan.
All right, thanks, Sally. Well, still ahead at 5, a flying car high above the streets of Santa Cruz, a futuristic vehicle from a Bay Area company that could be yours early next year.
You know how you're used to seeing planes have to rev up, and it just lifted up, like hoovered up, fast.
Plus, we'll have reaction to today's big announcement as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce reveal their engagement. Well, Travis Kelce has 3 Super Bowl rings, but it's the one he put on Taylor Swift's finger that's breaking the internet. Yeah, there was quite a reaction in our newsroom. The pop star, superstar, and Kansas City Chiefs tight end announced their engagement today in a joint post on Instagram. CBS reporter Wendy Gillette has all the details on the new era of the power couple.
Taylor Swift said yes. The superstar and pro football player Travis Kelce announced they are engaged. In an Instagram post, the couple wrote, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." The post was accompanied by the song So High School, which is rumored to be about the 3-time Super Bowl winner. This enchanted love story started about 2 years ago after the Kansas City Chiefs tight end pursued the singer-songwriter.
I had never experienced something so mesmerizing on stage and then so real and so beautiful in person.
Earlier this month, the two filled in some blank spaces for the Swifties about their relationship on Kelce's podcast, New Heights, with his brother Jason.
A huge green flag is that Travis has had the same friends since he's probably 4 years old.
I think this is the equivalent of a royal wedding.
Variety's senior writer and chief music critic Chris Willman says this is one of the biggest celebrity couplings in modern times.
We've never seen anything quite like this, I don't think, in terms of people coming together from different worlds who are just superstars in those worlds. They are going to be the homecoming king and queen of America.
Swift has a new 12-track album, The Life of a Showgirl, coming out later this year. And Kelce's football season kicks off next week.
Musicians, political figures, and athletes are coming together to congratulate the couple. The Kansas City Chiefs posted on social media welcoming Swift as a permanent member of the Chiefs Kingdom. Up next, ICE agents at a Bay Area hospital after detaining a woman at her home. What we've learned about the arrest, and a professor weighs in on the future of immigration enforcement right here in California.
It takes a little bit more effort to go on a list of folks that they know about in a neighborhood, but that's what they're going to do next.
Disturbing new accusations against San Francisco-based OpenAI. Why a new lawsuit says the company's wildly popular chatbot contributed to the death of a California teenager. Plus, he spent decades protecting his community from danger. We're going to meet the retired South Bay firefighter celebrating his 106th birthday.
What a pleasure to be in a place like this. Life couldn't be any better.
Right now at 5:30, a prayer vigil outside an ICE office in downtown San Francisco as Bay Area faith leaders push back against deportations. Activists gathered for an interfaith mother's vigil outside the ICE office. This was on Sansom Street. They held red paper mache flowers and posters of people who have been taken into ICE custody. We spoke to one reverend who says members of her congregation have told her the deportations have taken a toll on their loved ones.
They were following up the rules. They were presenting themselves to their hearings, scheduled hearings. They were committing no crimes, and then all of a sudden they take it.
The Reverend is calling on the Trump administration to grant detainees their due process. And we're learning about the ICE arrest of a 47-year-old woman from her East Palo Alto home. The woman is originally from Mexico. She had to be taken to the hospital during that arrest. The woman's father told the Mercury News that the arrest happened Monday morning as the woman, her husband, and their child were going to work and school. He claims she did not have a criminal record but did have an expired visa. During the arrest, the woman lost consciousness and the agents took her to the hospital. Stanford Hospital confirmed federal agents arrived at that hospital with a person. Well, joining us now is an expert on immigration law and policy at the University of San Francisco, Professor Bill Ong-Hing. So, Bill, what do we know about that most recent ICE arrest involving a woman who was detained in East Palo Alto while heading to work and is now at the Stanford Hospital?
Well, what we know is that she was on a list of folks that ICE knew was deportable. And so it wasn't an ICE raid. It wasn't going into a neighborhood just checking people's papers randomly. She's someone that they knew about. And they went and they arrested her and someone else. And in the process of the arrest or shortly after the arrest, something happened. A medical emergency came up. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was bad enough that ICE went to the closest hospital, I assume, which was Stanford Hospital, and they took her there, and they remained guarding her even though she was undergoing treatment.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, ICE agents are now standing guard outside her hospital room. So what are the rules involving the presence of ICE in very sensitive areas like hospitals?
Well, there's no more rules. In the first week of the Trump administration, the second Trump administration, they canceled something called the sensitive locations memo, which was guidance to ICE officers. Basically, don't go to hospitals, churches, and schools. So that was the crux of that sensitive locations memo, but that was canceled. And that was interpreted by ICE agents and by immigrants and by immigrant rights advocates is that now they can go to those locations. So in theory, an ICE agent could go to a hospital to enforce an immigration warrant, but that's the thing, is that they still have to have a warrant if they want to go into a hospital to just arrest someone. But that hasn't happened. This was a different situation. They arrested somebody who fell ill, who needed medical care.
And in this case, this person was targeted by ICE. In the Bay Area, we've seen ICE detain people outside of immigration court. But can we expect to see more arrests in neighborhoods and near people's homes?
I think we can. Stephen Miller has set a target of 3,000 arrests a day nationwide. He hasn't met that target. So what ICE is shifting to, it's easy for them to go to immigration courts and ask for cases to be dismissed and then have people arrested. It's easy for them to arrest people who go for their ICE check-ins. It takes a little bit more effort to go on a list of folks that they know about in a neighborhood. But that's what they're going to do next. They are going to go to neighborhoods. They cannot just randomly ask people for papers. They can't engage in racial profiling, but they can go to an address where they suspect somebody's undocumented and knock on the door. And if that person answers, they can arrest that person.
Well, lawyers in Southern California are asking for an investigation of immigration agents shot at a truck during a stop in San Bernardino. That incident captured on camera.
Hey, you can't do that!
Well, DHS says the driver struck 2 Customs and Border Patrol agents as he drove away, prompting one of the agents to fire his weapon in self-defense. Lawyers told the Los Angeles Times they have surveillance video disputing that claim, and they are calling for state and local officials to investigate. Well, the Council on American Islamic Relations has designated UC Berkeley as a hostile campus towards students and faculty who speak out against Israel's war in Gaza. UC Berkeley is the 15th university or college to receive this designation. The council, CARE, says the university has a troubling pattern of selectively cracking down on anti-genocide speech and failing to protect pro-Palestinian advocates. The council says 85% of the Muslim students at Cal have experienced Islamophobic harassment.
This designation is long overdue, as the UC Berkeley campus has consistently ostracized and demonized Palestinian, Muslim, Jewish, and pro-Palestine students and faculty on the very campus they so proudly call the home of the free speech movement.
UC Berkeley released a statement in response saying in part that the university has an unwavering commitment to free speech and confronting any sort of harassment and discrimination, and that Berkeley's leadership works closely with members of the campus's Advisory Committee on Muslim and Palestinian Student Life in order to understand and address those communities' needs and interests. President Trump is trying to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, but Cook says she won't resign. The president says he found sufficient evidence, sufficient cause, should I say, to remove her from her post over allegations of mortgage fraud dating back to 2021. Cook was appointed in 2022. She disputes Trump's claims, and her lawyer says they plan to sue. Financial analysts say the president's move risks undermining the independence of the central bank.
Any sitting president, this would set the precedent, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, that you could potentially use interest rates as a political tool. It just does call into question the health of the U.S. economy.
There are 7 members of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors. They are appointed to 14-year terms. Still ahead at 5, it's like a scene from another planet. Look at this. The impact of this towering wall of dust swallowing up parts of Arizona. Plus, an unusual sight, the skies above Santa Cruz.
It was exciting to watch when it first lifted off. It's very windy over from the ocean here, and it seemed like it was under control.
The Bay Area company working to bring flying cars to the masses. Well, a lawsuit filed against OpenAI claims the company's ChatGPT is responsible for the suicide of a California teen. The Rain family claims their son Adam started using ChatGPT for homework help. The lawsuit claims that ChatGPT eventually offered encouragement in other aspects of Adam's life, like anxiety and suicidal thoughts. It claims the chatbot ultimately provided detailed instructions that helped plan Adam's suicide. Rain's family claims that the OpenAI and Sam Altman rushed the version of ChatGPT to market, dismissing clear safety concerns. We reached out to OpenAI for a response to the lawsuit. The company says ChatGPT includes safeguards like directing people to crisis helplines and other resources, adding that over longer interactions, those safeguards can become less reliable. Well, some Santa Cruz residents getting quite the show. Look at this. As a Palo Alto-based company shows off its flying car, the company called Pivotal is crisscrossing the country to showcase the vehicle. Pivotal says it's all electric and zero emissions and is capable of vertical takeoff and landing, so, well, doesn't need a runway.
It was exciting to watch when it first lifted off. You know how you're used to seeing planes have to rev up, and it just lifted up, like hoovered up, fast. And it's very windy over from the ocean here, and it seemed like it was under control.
Another demonstration is scheduled for next Tuesday at the Fioli Gardens in Woodside. Pivotal is hoping to ship its flying cars to customers by March or April of next year. You won't need a pilot's license. Prices start at $190,000. Pretty fun. Well, up next, scary scenes from Arizona. Look at this, where a massive wall of dust brought everything to a screeching halt.
Straight ahead in sports, the wife of a college football coach attacked by social media over, where do you see it? And the 49ers are going with what they got, down to a full roster of 53 players.
Look at this. Unbelievable images out of Phoenix, Arizona, where a massive dust storm brought life to a sudden stop. Drivers stopped as their cars were surrounded. Emergency officials warning drivers to proceed with caution as visibility dropped to near zero.
Can't see anything. We can see a little bit in front of us. I think there's a car behind us.
Severe thunderstorms followed the dust cloud, knocking down trees and causing widespread power outages. And Zoe, the technical term for this, right? This is a real term.
Yes.
Haboob.
Yes, haboob, H-A-B-O-O-B. That is the technical term for a large dust storm that moves over the state of Arizona, which is exactly what those videos were from yesterday. And it's all brought to them by the monsoon. I actually missed the monsoon. I lived in New Mexico for 2 years, and it was so interesting to see the thunderstorms that develop over the mountains each and every afternoon. The downside to the monsoon is, the dust storms and the dry lightning that come along with it. So you can see all of the thunderstorms developing over the mountains. But what is slightly more unusual about the monsoon moisture is the fact that it is traveling all the way up the Sierra. Yes, this is monsoon moisture as well that's been impacting the Sierra throughout the day today. It's also brought a couple of lightning and thunderstorms down near Sacramento earlier this afternoon. Luckily, it did not spark any fires because there was already a wildfire that was sparked by lightning earlier this week. In fact, I think it was actually Thursday that near Fresno, the Garnet Fire was started, and it is still 0% contained. It's creating quite a lot of wildfire smoke, quite a lot of bad air quality. While the northern part of the United States, this is where the worst air quality is, up near Oregon and up near Washington. This is where we are expecting the worst fire conditions to persist. So south of that, where we are in the Bay Area, the Picket Fire, our fire conditions are not nearly as bad. It's a lot more moisture filled and a lot cooler along our coastal communities, which again is really, really great news when it comes to those wildfire conditions not being nearly as bad as they could. So look at the fire up there. Let's pull it up, see if we can still see it, because yes, there is still that picket fire that's ongoing. However, it's barely creating any sort of smoke. The smoke that you do see, maybe out in our inland communities, if you look out farther east, this is actually all smoke from the Garnet Fire. It's not smoke from the Picket Fire. Something to keep your eye on. Really interesting if you do see a little bit of haze in the sky over the next couple of days. Right now, though, it is quiet, it is calm, it is clear, it is sunny, it is beautiful, so many adjectives I can use to describe this evening. I hope you all enjoy yourselves, though, because comfortable heat this time of year is something that we can all enjoy, especially when it comes along with sunnier skies, even along our coastal communities. Temperatures in San Francisco sitting in the upper 60s right now, 70s down in San Jose and Santa Rosa, and still sitting in the 80s in Livermore and Concord. Very seasonable for this time of year. Really, really nice weather with wind gusts, nothing too crazy, maybe 20 to 30 miles an hour coming in from that onshore direction and continuing to usher in more moisture. So we are expecting these relatively cooler and moist conditions to stick around, which is, again, really great news when it comes to decreasing that fire danger across the Bay Area. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon going to be a couple of degrees below average in places like Oakland and Concord, a degree above average in San Jose, and we are right on the nose for seasonable conditions in San Francisco tomorrow. We are expecting a very gradual warm up to head our way, though, later this upcoming week. And then the weekend is going to be the warm days, expecting to get back into the mid to lower 90s across our inland East Bay communities, getting back into the mid to upper 80s in the Santa Clara Valley, and even San Francisco, expecting to get back into potentially the upper 70s this upcoming weekend. So warm weather is just around the corner, or warmer weather, I should say, but there is no extreme heat in our future, which is really, really great news for maybe anybody that has been a little bit more concerned about that extreme heat when it comes to fire danger. We're going to continue to push that back. Tomorrow afternoon, 80s inland, 60s along the coast, that typical Bay Area weather, those microclimates in full force. Overall, really, really lovely conditions for any outdoor plans through the rest of the week. It's this weekend that you are going to be worried a little bit more about that heat safety, but hey, mid to lower 90s for this time of year, that is not too shabby. That is not extreme heat. That is just a couple of degrees above average for this time of year. Areas by the Bay are going to be sitting in the 70s with plenty of sunshine, getting into the upper 70s. Again, by this upcoming weekend, those will be the warm days, cooling back down with more cloud coverage by the time that we step out into early next week. So that does mean any of you who maybe had any Labor Day plans and you're heading on over to the coast, expect cloudier conditions just in time for your Labor Day on Monday, maybe a little bit cooler as well, and enjoy the sunshine and warmer weather this weekend while you can. Jules, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Zoe. So coming up all new at 6 o'clock, San Jose escalates its fight against blight with steep new penalties big time against property owners. So we'll hear from neighbors who say it's about time. Plus, it's our first chance to hear from the former aide at the center of the San Mateo County Sheriff's scandal, why he told us the county's reports completely mischaracterized their relationship. And have you heard? Taylor Swift is in her bridal era. We're going to check in with a local jeweler. Yes, we are. And a wedding planner. How they expect her wedding to Travis Kelce to make its mark on the entire industry. So the news at 6 is coming up in about 10 minutes, but let's get to my really good buddy, just an all-around good guy, Vern, for sports.
KPIX Sports is powered by Kia. Learn more at kia.com. Kia, movement that inspires.
NFL up top and the 49ers. The initial 53-man roster is out, and the focus now is on September 7th, the opener at Seattle. The goal? Quite simple. End the season February 8th at Levi's Stadium, the site of Super Bowl 60.
We have a team that can do it and go all the way, and we got new guys on the team, new faces, and we all have to learn each other and get ready to go on this journey. It's a long journey, 18 weeks of football, then playoffs, and then obviously we're going to be playing in the stadium a bunch this year, so we can get used to it, and hopefully we can be playing in it at the very end as well.
WNBA and the Valkyries, they don't run the floor until Saturday. Now, while some players rest, one keeps on going, and she's grateful to do so.
Charles in charge of our days and our nights.
Kyla Charles has been in charge of her opportunity since joining the team on a 7-day contract. 26 days later, Charles is still a Valkyrie and will be for the rest of the season. She tied a career high with 16 points in Sunday's win at Dallas, the team that released her last month.
I'm really happy that 7 days turned to almost a month, and I get to be a part of this culture, a part of this team. Like, it really helped with my confidence and like my belief, like being in this league. Because, you know, you question that when you get cut over and over. So being here has really just showed like I do belong.
Charles in charge. College football and the California Golden Bears. New era Saturday night with a season opener at Oregon State. Ron Rivera, a star linebacker in the 1980s, is back in Berkeley as the general manager of the program. And he's got 3 ways to measure success.
The first metric is going to be butts in the seats. Second metric is going to be eyeballs on the TV. Those are real important. And then obviously winning and losing.
Shane Beamer and South Carolina are gearing up for their season opener this weekend. The Gamecocks were one of several SEC programs featured on Netflix this summer. Beamer's wife, Emily, had a scene where she was making cookies for the team, which led to fans criticizing her baking skills on social media.
The cookies are the freaking bomb, just so you guys know. And I've got my girls back. To the people that reached out to her on Instagram to criticize her and telling her that she's not cooking them long enough, come up here on a Thursday after practice when I put those cookies out and see how fast they're devoured and gone, because they're gone in about 5 minutes.
Man, I don't know about you, but I like my cookies a little gooey coming out of the oven.
That rawness, right?
And with each South Carolina win, I bet those cookies get even tastier.
Tastes like victory.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Vern. Up next, we'll introduce you to a former San Jose Fire captain celebrating 106 years of living. Well, Sam Siebert was a San Jose firefighter for 30 years, from 1946 to 1976. He rose to the rank of captain, and today the fire department helped celebrate his 106th birthday. The celebration was held at the San Jose Fire Museum. He's one of the founders of that museum. It's located at the old Fire Station 1, where Sam says he used to be stationed.
Oh, you know, when I look at all the fun that was had in this station and the pranksters that were pulled in this station and all the different things that took place that publishers shouldn't know, but they did. And it was a good company.
Man, he looks good for 106. Well, the people who run the museum says Sam stops by at least once a week to tell them what to do. Of course, he's in charge. He also plays a big part in firefighter graduations in San Jose. The museum says has been throwing Sam birthday parties for 20 years. He looks great.
He has personality.
He does.